good afternoon, and good evening. Once again, you're welcome to your lovely platform, Dust to Dream. And today, we're going to be discussing something that, has to deal with the child who wished to be a professional footballer. At a very young age, we get to see our parents push us. So the weight of expectation from parents sometimes it makes or mars the child's professional career at the end of the day. So today we'll be discussing some issues on that matter, and we'll be reeling out statistics according to researchers. According to goalkeeper.com, 97% of the players who play in the professional academy will not make it to the Premier League. And according to the Oxford students, it says 0.5% of players from Category 1 academy. And I mean Category 1 academy, I mean all the Premier League clubs. I think apart by you don't have a Category 1 academy. I think Category 2, that's what Brentford has. Last time I spoke to someone from Brentford, people from Category 1, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Tottenham, and the rest. Only 0.5% of them will make a debut in the Premier League. Then there's also a shocking statistics that says that 0.012% of people outside the academies. So, like we're talking about the local street club, 0.012% of them will make a Premier League debut. So it's you can see that the statistics are shocking and they're scary for somebody out there. But the good news is that it doesn't start and end being a professional footballer, because football is a large platform where we can also teach the kid what to do and what not to do if eventually they don't end up being a professional footballer. You can as well be someone who runs a podcast. You can be a pundit, can be a scout, you can be an analyst, you can be a coach, you can be a backroom staff. There's a lot of things to do. You can even jump and start studying medicine, studying physiotherapy. You can even be an academic educational instructor and all that. So depending on the challenge you have in life, you can make or man whatever you decide for yourself. But however, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I implore whoever is out there who wish to be a professional footballer to also explore certain channels, like looking at how to help themselves. Whenever I listen to Micah Richards' story, Big Mix of CBS, I get inspired because he was injured at the peak of his career. And what did he do? Today, you see him making money from different podcasts, different punditry shows, from CBS to Sky to ITV to the rest of football to wherever he goes to. And the good thing about Micah is he puts smiles on people's face. So the end of your footballing career does not determine the fact that you will be a sadist for life. No, you can also put the disappointment behind you and try to put a smile on other people's face, because that alone will inspire people who are going to fly the same route, who are going to travel the same path with you. It will inspire them to say, oh, if you can do it, they can as well. The second one we're going to look at the positives of this whole thing. We're going to talk about the support from the parents, the emotional support, the discipline, the structure, the financial support, like traveling with the kid to football matches, buying them football boots, socks, shin pads, football balls, taking them to private lessons and all that. So it is very good for you to do that for the child. It is also very important that when you're doing it, you should be doing it freely with your heart, because most times the pressure we apply on the child, it causes them so. But however, in the next subtopic, we're going to discuss the disadvantage of doing this and doing it too much. It is also good that you encourage your child, whatever your child wants to do in life, you encourage them to be the best of what they want to be. Where you are encouraging them, sometimes it brings anxiety, it brings the fear of failure. It burns the child out. It makes them feel like they are not good enough. And this is where we begin to ask questions. Is the child chasing their dream, or is the parents chasing the parents' dream? Because for some parents, it is more or less like they are chasing this dream. They investing in this child to reap. And whenever I get the opportunity to talk to parents, I tell them, like, I love to interact with parents, especially when I see the potential in a child, because as a scout, I see potential in a child. The only thing I go there, I say, keep it up, do this, do that, try as much as I can to encourage them, to tell them what to do, and just, and most importantly, they should keep a low head. Then I turn around to the parents and I say, please, one thing I want you to do is to allow this boy enjoy himself. Allow this girl enjoy herself. Don't put too much pressure on them. If you put too much pressure on them, they might not sustain it, because their age, what they just need is to enjoy the game. And when they are enjoying the game, that is where the principles of teaching them how the game is being played comes to play. Because if they are not enjoying the game, if you're teaching them how to play, it won't go in easy. Because I've met children where you talk to them and ask them, what's happening? Look, you play so well, but why? You saying, I don't want to do this. I'm just doing it for my dad. I'm just doing it because my mom wants me to do it. I'm not interested in this. I'll go meet the parents and say, this child doesn't want to do this. So why are we forcing this child to do? Like, I try to advise them. On my own, I tell the kid, listen, you have the talent. What you just have to do is to pick interest in this. You might end up being something you don't know you want to be. I was watching Ben White's interview, and you could see that his family were not interested in football. Even him, at some point in time, people were wondering, was he really interested? But he had the talent. So, and nobody pushed him. He said, apart from, I think, someone who used to come and work for them, the person bought football and he was kicking around. When he goes home, they don't discuss football at home. You can see that it's different things for different folks. And obviously, parents have the weight of responsibility of not letting that child feel pressure, not letting that child feel like, oh, they are doing too much, not letting them feel like, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm a disappointment to my father, I'm a disappointment to my mother. My parents are not going to be happy with me, because children, like I said, at that age, they're meant to enjoy this force. They're not meant to, to be loaded with complicated stuff and all that. So I believe that if we, as a parents, play our own part, everything will go through well. One of my nightmares are having parents counter instructing the children when you're on the other one side and the parents is on that side. And you're telling the child, this is what I want you to do. And now there's a parent on the other side telling the child a different thing. It's a very big problem, because the parent is already living through the child. You don't live through the child, because if you live through the child, the coach has said something and you're giving him something, the child end up being confused. So just cheer up when you see that good move that comes in. You cheer up. And when something else don't go right, you also encourage them. That's what we do. But when you start living through the child, some point in time, you're telling the child, do this and do that. You're counter-instructing whatever the coach is saying. Then you're creating a very big problem, in the sense that at some point in time, the child will start seeing your instruction more than the coach's instruction. And we have a very special way of dealing with that kind of thing. Once we see that and it becomes a light, we'll take the kid off and let the kid go and sit down. Not that we're punishing the kid, because at that time it becomes too much information for the kid to process. So we're trying to calm the brain down, that when the kid comes, you tell the kid, you now instruct the kid, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to go about it. Because if you leave the kid on the field of play, there's a lot of confusion here. Oh, stand here, move. The father or the mother is on the other side saying, oh, go back. So I understand. That's why most category, one academy, when they go for trial games, they ask every parents to sit very far away and no parents should talk. Everybody should keep quiet. Let the children do what they want to do. And that's where, without being coached, without being hailed or being cheered, without being cheered and without being coached, you can see the true expression of what the child wants to be. You can see the true expression of who the child is, how they wish to play the game. Like for me, most times I don't even like to talk too much. I just like to sit and watch. The only time I talk to them is maybe cover this, make some adjustments in terms of how you move, or when it's like going not according to plan. Sometimes you have to raise your voice and say something, pass the instruction and all. So parents are advised bring their children and cheer. Cheering is allowed, but coaching, passing counter instruction, the coach is saying one thing. Because before every game, there's a game plan. They are all seated with the coach there. There's an instruction before you go in, and you were not part of it. So how come you want a different instruction? Now, on the idea of social media, it's good to showcase the child on the social media, but sometimes it has a very, very negative effect in this era and time, because the child in question will have weight of expectation on them, and on the other side, it chronicles their journey from day one. So as much as we want to put our children out there on the social media space, we should also try as much as we can to create that balance and make sure that we are not trampling on the child's rights, privacy, and all that, so that it doesn't cause problem for them in future and all that. So social media itself comes with a lot of pressure. Because since the advent of social media, I've seen young talents who grew up and along the line they disappeared. So it's a tool we have to use wisely. Whatever we're doing with it, we have to be mindful of how we use it so that it will be to the advantage of the child. You see, at the end of the day, when the story, no matter what, can't take it away, BU coach A, BU coach B, the fact that you trained this child, the fact that you made this child this and that, at the end of the day, when the child becomes successful, parents take chunk of the credit because they saw from day one, they were making those decisions, they were putting one or two efforts out there and all that. So that's why this is directly to the parents themselves. There should be a balance between freedom and guidance. I was talking to a friend the other day. I was telling him that his son is a boy who started playing football, and I've been following them, the journey. I've been asking questions and all that, and I'm impressed. So I was talking to him, I was like, I hope you're not putting this man under pressure. He was like, no, that it is actually the boy himself that wants it more. I say, yes, even if he wants it more, then you should manage his expectation, because sometimes when he wants it more, it becomes dangerous for us, because at the end of the day, if he doesn't come, it might affect his mental health and all that. So we have to manage his expectation and tell him that, things he can actually get it, but he has to work hard as well. And even if he doesn't get it, it doesn't end the world there. There are still many ways for him to get to achieve success. So, or however it is, we can still keep encouraging him, keep putting that balance between freedom and guiding him, through that long journey of life. And at the end of this whole thing, the child needs a safe place. Child needs a place where they can relax their mind. I've told the story of a man who each time he comes around, the child starts playing badly because of the weight of experience. And a kid confided in me that each time one of his parents is around, he just puts too much pressure, he just puts too much weight on him that he doesn't perform well because he might be tongue lashed at the end of the game. And I have spoken to the person in question concerned, and if it doesn't matter, but I just told him that you just have to allow this boy enjoy this game. We can see that the talent is there, but if we keep pushing him too hard, he might just along the line say, I don't care anymore. And we just have to find a way to encourage him rather than make him run away from something that he loves to do. So please, as a parent, no matter what you do, let us learn to create a balance. Yeah, I know times are hard, and the money an average professional footballer makes is something that can take you away into generational wealth. However, we should be mindful. We should also know one wrong footing might just end it up for us, because it might put the child in a situation where we sit down tomorrow and say, oh no, if we had known. I read a book by Michael Carvin, No Hunger in Paradise. He chronicled about people who were dumb in the 90s before England introduced elite player professional pathway and all that. So EPPP, before England introduced it, he chronicled a lot of journey of footballers who, at the end of the day, they couldn't make it. Many of them landed in jail. We don't want to have that kind of situation. But however, like I said, we just need to create a balance, manage the expectation. Let us not act like all our investment is in maybe a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, or even 7-year-old. Let's allow them enjoy their life, live through their life, give them the proper guidance, the proper advice on what to do and how best to move their life. Because at the end of the day, like I said, if the child enjoys doing this, if the child is doing this with all their mind, because the parents has encouraged them, not compelled them, then positive result will always yield. But if the child is being forced, is being coerced, they will break down. So please know where you belong. And from today, if you're making that mistake, try and correct that. I'll see you next time. Thank you.